Welcome to Ready, Set, Real Estate, where we will help empower and educate you on many different aspects of real estate, finance, and investing. Each week, we will expand your knowledge and uncover hidden truths. We will break down real-world scenarios and study actual how-to strategies. Anyone can buy real estate, but together we'll ensure you make smart real estate investment decisions. Now, here's your host, award-winning author, international speaker, and real estate educator, Gillett.
Happy Wednesday, beautiful people, wherever you are on this still phenomenal planet. How many of you have been rocking with me since Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, where I used to say, happy Tuesday, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet. That was a great show. I did that. What did I do? 200 episodes on that every Tuesday for a period of time. And I really can say and share that the show documented my personal development and growth over that period, which was pretty cool to see. I've immortalized myself, my growth in a sense, on that when we did Shift Your Thinking Tuesday. That was really fun. Here we are on our real estate segment of what I continue to offer to the world in real estate literacy, information, education, edutainment, right here on your favorite real estate podcast. Make sure you're connected with us wherever you're subscribed. So we are tuning in from, let's throw that on vibrate. I realized I didn't turn my phone off. So wherever you're subscribed to, so Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, the YouTube, Instagram, IG. Shout out to those of you who are streaming and connecting with us on IG and catching us live. I know you're probably at a, early lunch, or you're probably scrolling through and you saw it come on live and you're like, what is Lisa talking about? Well, I want to talk about what's been going on with this mechanics lien case. This is a big deal. It's the wildest thing that I've heard, and even the district attorney's office here in Los Angeles agrees the wildest thing. And so I wanted to come on and just talk about this particular case as it relates to the concerns and how it relates to when you're hiring people to do work at your property, that you are potentially exposing yourself to mechanics liens for not paying folks their money. Pay people, okay? Just pay people. Otherwise, they rightfully so have the right to record a mechanics lien against your property. And we'll talk a little bit more about what a mechanics lien will do and how that'll tie you all up in a knot. Who's that? Okay, I've got my cousin online. I love it when family chimes in. He says, what's up, cuz? Good morning. Blessings to you, and hope you have a blessed week. Thank you, and trust the same for you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the love, and look forward to reconnecting soon. Let's see here. So with that, I gave you a sneak peek here of what we're going to talk about. And I've done this segment already on mechanics liens. And I just want to bring your attention to this episode 242, where I talked about the untangling liens in real estate. So check that episode out. It was a past episode 242, and really good stuff there. There was also a segment, and I'm going to bring that back, on bankruptcy, because what I want to talk about, it's been brought to my attention, and I really want to unpack this, is homestead exemptions. So we'll talk about homestead exemptions because a lot of homeowners file them. They don't really know the benefit to them. And I'll touch lightly on it. You all know I'm not here to give you legal advice. I'm not here to do that. But I do know a little something, right? So check out that episode, the past episode 242, where we talk about liens. I go more into depth than I will today. Today, I want to focus on more so this. Let's see, I want to focus more on this one here, where we go from a contractor who's alleging alleging unpaid work, cleaning services in particular, and she is now facing up to 24 years in state prison. So we'll discuss more about that after our break. But before I do that, let's get into our usual things and checklists here. So before we do that, let's talk about your real estate goals for 2026. We are still in first quarter. It's March. We're having a great quarter, I would say. And when I say great quarter, I'm just saying I'm noticing some things happening in real estate that have been good. So I know some folks have been like, rates are still high, mortgages are still ridiculous. But listen, Linda, listen. You remember that? Listen, Linda. So the good news with that is you've got to be strategic. You've got to be strategic. If you are looking to get your foot in the door, then here's the game plan, right? Okay, before, let me take a step back. First of all, right? Remember when we were all jumping in to buy real estate because it was like the trend, it was trending on social media. Gosh, the power of social media like has spurred and spawned all these movements and people to make these decisions. So before we did all that, my reminder then and my loving reminder to you now is to jump in real estate, make real estate decisions when it makes financial sense for your situation. Okay, not what everyone else has going on. That means if you just landed a major contract, job offer, you see sales are increasing, do the planning, do the work. Real estate, as I said last week and the years before, is planning. It's planning. You want to be strategic. If you intend on borrowing someone's money, for example, a bank, then you should be doing 3 years of tax planning because banks, lenders, direct lenders, credit unions, if you can get a VA loan, take advantage of that VA certificate. However, what they are looking at as it relates to your income is a three-letter word. It's not three-letter word. It's a three-letter acronym that represents three words on your tax return. Write this down. I'll drop it in the comments. It stands for AGI. How many of you know that or are hearing it for the first time? So it's the AGI is what the lenders are looking out for. Shout out to Sea Wind Bound joining us on IG. Hi there. Thanks for checking in and just stealing away some time to learn some real estate gems here with me. So the AGI, they are looking at your adjusted gross income. That means if you clocked in $200,000 per year, as an example, right? Just throwing it out there, right? If you clocked in 200,000, but you wrote off 80,000 in expenses, your adjusted gross income is what, people? Let's do the math. 200 minus the 80,000 in expensive you deducted against your income, reducing your taxable income or your liability. Oh, I bet you didn't realize I would have you do some math on this show. Yes, we do a little math. We read, we write on this show. We take notes. We do all of that. I just jumped right in and gave you math problems, right? So AGI, adjusted gross income, 200,000 minus the 80,000 you deducted leaves us with what? What are you telling the IRS? What are you telling the lender that how much your take home was at the end of the year? You're right, 120,000. You said I brought in 200,000. Out of that, I covered 80,000 in deductible expenses, and my net is 120,000. So that's what they're going to qualify you on, 120,000. So yes, that's one traditional way of getting a loan. There's other means and other ways, and we can get into all of that. I full disclaimer, and I'll share it again. Not a mortgage broker here, not a lender, but I know a thing or two about getting qualified and what's necessary in order to lock in, right? Lock in your financing. So for your purchase. I will also share this as a reminder. You still can, it's still available. Great program now. So you can buy multi-units, right? Multi-units using 5% down as long as you occupy one of them. Shout out to my lender partner, Victor Dean of Vault Mortgage. So I had to check in with him yesterday about it. As you all know, I was in school and doing all that thing. I've resurfaced. I've come out. I'm out. I'm out of my cubby. And so back on it. So just wanted to share with you all as it relates to the real estate goals, whether it's investing or buying your first piece of property. Let's be strategic about the money. Okay. Yes, you may say, but Lisa, I've got to pay taxes on that money. You know what? Then you should. Okay. Then you should, because if you are relying on a loan, you want to show at most, right? You want to maximize the opportunity that you say, hey, maybe you say, I may not deduct all 80,000 this year, right? Speak with a tax planner, CPA, tax accountant, tax preparer, how you can spread that over the tax years. That way you're not taking that hit this one time. I'm just asking for 3 years. 3 years for the AGI to look good, look favorable. All right. Look favorable, right? Exactly. All right. So with that, that's where that's a little tip for this first quarter on our real estate goals. Again, make sure you are already subscribed to annualcreditreport.com. That is the only federal designated website to monitor your credit reports for free. Some of you may have it. You may have access to the credit report by way through your bank. I notice a lot of banks have now partnered with one of the 3 credit bureaus. And who are those? What are the names? Just say it out loud, right? We're going to drop it in here. Drop it in the comments below. Name the 3 credit bureaus, because we got some young folks that are learning. They're up and coming, and they need to learn this information too, right? So we've got Experian. Yep, you named it. You got it. We've got who else? Who's the other one? And there's no particular order here. We're just going off the 3 that we know. TransUnion. Yep, TransUnion. And then the last one is Equifax. What is that website? Again, it's not freecreditreport.com. Don't get caught up with that. That's not the correct website to access your free annual credit report. This is you doing your homework and checking to make sure things are not recorded. You got it. Thank you there. Experian, Equifax, Equinox, TransUnion, and Experian. Got it. So again, make sure you check out. You sign up for an account, you get your free credit reports, and you should. This is a report card. This is just seeing a snapshot in time. Okay. Let me say this for those of you who are really gung-ho about credit. Credit is very forgiving. Very forgiving. I speak from experience. I've had debt. I've had judgments. I've had, liens, all kinds of fun stuff, right? Because that's sometimes what life brings you, especially being an entrepreneur, business owner. At one time, I was, W-2 employed. And during the financial housing crisis, just like, a good part of the country, I was not immune to losing a good portion of my income, and I couldn't maintain stuff. So as a result, I had to deal with, increasing debt and all that kind of stuff. Why I say that debt is forgiving is because I've been able to resolve that. This is why I kick off the show with your real estate goals. Why? Because real estate is a mindset. If you spend every single day thinking about what you put in your body, right? If your goal is to lose weight, tone your body, different things you're setting out, real estate works the same way. I kid you not. Every single person that I've connected with in my business, every single person and client, you'd be amazed the goals and the stories that they said that say, hey, I put this on my board, 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I got folks who are still executing that plan. So there's no shame here. This is at your pace. These are your goals. Okay. Don't let anyone make you feel that you can't do these things. Seawind's got a question for us. So, what state do you purchase homes in? So, I'm licensed broker in California. That's where I am. I'm good for California. I refer out business outside of California. Um, Oftentimes, in fact, interestingly, when I've consulted with people here, they can't do the numbers or the numbers can't work here. What ends up happening is I will recommend some other areas. And I've seen that work out for some folks who ended up doing Georgia, ended up doing Texas. If it makes sense for them, especially when we have consults and we go through what are the job opportunities that they have in relation to the field that they're in. So that's what I do. But I'm a Cali girl, LA super agent. I'm a Cali girl. So my knowledge and experience comes from here. Okay, so cool. We got quarterly goals, right? Cool. You've got all that good stuff. Listen, that's enough to work here. Yeah, she says prices here are scary. Absolutely. They that's why my income example was 200,000. I know my folks who are down south and Midwest, and they're probably like $200,000. Like what? Which is why I have the conversation with folks and say, don't be tethered here to California, feel like it's not possible. In fact, I've connected with some folks here right on social media who listened, learned, and guess what? They went and bought property out of state and took the same gain, took the same goals, the same methodology, and put it into practice somewhere else. And they've been able to achieve that goal in terms of real estate acquisition, investing, and it works for them. So make sure you develop and build your team, a solid team, wherever you are in whichever state. Okay, so cool. I know I get folks to be like, I wish you were here. I wish I was everywhere too, which is why I do the platform, why I do the show, is because I can share, right? And then I can connect you with some really great folks in some other states that I'm connected with. So cool. Got it. She says, I'm going to DM you. You got it. I'll look for the message. All right. So based on that good stuff here, it's a good start here to the show. We'll be right back. Okay. So I'm gonna send us off to a break. We'll be right back after this sponsor break. Today's sponsor is no other, shameless plug, Devenio Estates. Will be right back.
We know how challenging it can be to try and sell a home while also dealing with other financial and legal matters. We're here to help. Devenio Estates is the real estate firm you need to make sure your unique situation is handled as quickly and efficiently as possible. Our team of professionals has a combined experience of over 30 years in real estate, construction, and finance industries. As active professionals in the industry, we know the importance of timelines and pride ourselves in providing superior service without compromising integrity. We use industry software and copyrighted proposals so that our real estate agents submit accurate and complete listing information and buyer offers. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and set Devenio Estates as the go-to real estate firm for excellence in advocacy and superior services for our clients. Contact us today to learn more about our services.
Great. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're on episode 265, although I feel like it's a higher number. I've lost track. So I'm doing my best here and keeping track. My son said to me, he says, Mom, you should just number them. I felt like I was in TV production. I had like season 1 with 16 episodes, season 2 with 13 I think I was like on season 6. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to number these episodes. And that's how I'll keep track of them. And that works better, especially as I mentioned about this past episode, talking about mechanics liens and different types of liens that could attach to your property and affect you. So here we are talking about this case. Listen, this is really mind-blowing to me that I don't know if there's a potential mental health issue happening here with this particular individual who is facing 24 years in state prison. So let me give you the scoop on this. Let me move myself out of the way. Okay, there we go. So Rita Ortiz, listen, this is what's happened here. This is here in LA, right? Beverly Hills, in fact. 10 properties have been affected by Rita Ortiz, who alleged that the homeowners owe her thousands of dollars for cleaning services that she had done. Thousands of dollars. You know what? I jump ahead of myself every time because I get so excited and then I forget to read disclaimers. Okay, disclaimers, time out, people. Let's bring it back. The information provided on this show should not be considered legal or tax advice. Please seek legal and tax advice from those reputable licensed professionals. I'll say it for the people in the back. From who? Reputable licensed professionals. Again, I come on and share, give you all this really great information. And that's because my background, right, is as a broker owner. I've been in the industry for now 2 decades, upwards of 2 decades. I'm a pricing strategy advisor, short sales and foreclosure certified, and my favorite is seniors real estate specialist. And all that means is I continue to learn, grow, and bring that information so that you can make an informed decision. That's all that means. I keep educating myself so that I am a ball of knowledge when you are ready to come to me and say, what about this? And I've got some sound advice and recommendations about it regarding your unique situation. Here on the show, we're not talking specifics. We are just talking fun, generality, the business of real estate, the world of real estate, and all that's inclusive in that, okay? Shortly, I'm going to have to give you a legal disclaimer. I'm excited. Okay, let's bring it right back. Let's bring it back to Rita Ortiz. So Rita Ortiz, this is scary. This is why this is there's something should change in the way documents are recorded. So let's remember that the county recorder registrar's office, those folks down there are not there to authenticate documents. What does that mean? They're not there to record it to make it true. That's not what they do. Okay, let's be clear. Let's also understand here that this case that I'm discussing involving Rita, of course, it says the charges filed in this case are allegations. So the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. This information is right off and about this case is right from the LA County District Attorney's Office. So we're talking about real estate fraud here. And the allegations, as I shared, was she's claiming that these property owners owe her anywhere from $800,000 to over $98 million. I mean, could you imagine her accounts receivable and accounts payable? She's like, if this were all true, they owe her some serious money. But here's what's been interesting. All over the news has had an opportunity to interview the affected homeowners, the property owners, who said they've never met this woman. They don't know this woman. She's not ever done work in their property. Yikes. What? So I feel like out of this case, because it's such a big deal, it's such a big number, and we're talking about some really expensive real estate being involved in this case, I think there's going to be some legislation that's going to be born out of this so that this doesn't happen again. Because, why? Because liens act as a hold against your property. It clouds the title. I also want to clear up some misinformation I've been reading on social media. What is being shared is people say, well, I don't think you can file a mechanic's lien for cleaning services. Well, let's break that down. You don't say. So a mechanic's lien can be filed by an unpaid contractor. That would be a cleaning service person. Subcontractor. Yeah, they could fall under that as well. Laborer. Yep, you had somebody come do some work on your property. Or material supplier, meaning you ordered materials and you didn't pay them. And they have the right, by way of a process, to record with the county recorder's office. So as I said, there's some good stuff on that last episode, episode 252. Go check that out where I talked about it. I talked about liens, but let me recap here what the timeline is. Okay, so when we're talking about mechanics lien, is one, you and this laborer, contractor, subcontractor, or the material supplier have agreed to have some work done or have some materials delivered, right? The work is completed, materials are delivered. Got it. That's the first part. Part two, payment is due. Naturally, someone does the work, you pay them. Someone orders the material, you pay them. Payment is due. Guess what? When it's 30 days past due, they have the right and should send you a notice of intent to lien. That means they are putting you on notice. They are going to file a lien for the unpaid balance owed to them for the work they completed. This is all about a matter of justice. You cannot benefit from somebody else's work and decide that you are not going to pay. This creates an inequity, right? You don't get to enrich yourself. You don't get to benefit from someone's work or someone delivering materials to you and you don't pay for it. That's not okay. The law says it. That's why they allow these types of instruments to be recorded on real property. For example, real estate, your house, your multifamily, your apartment building, your business, meaning if you own the building. So they'll send a notice of intent to lien, and then you do nothing. You say, ha ha ha, I laugh in the face of liens. Ha 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 ha. Okay. They then will have the last laugh and they will file that mechanics lien against you. And now you have a really nasty cloud on your title and you will miss opportunities for a couple things. So how does this play out? You decide that, I would like to refi and perhaps lower my interest rate. I would like to refi and get into a better rate and loan term product. I would like to sell my property. Guess what? You won't be able to do any of those until that mechanics lien is resolved. That is why it creates a cloud on the title, is you will not be able to move forward until the mechanics lien is resolved. Okay. With that being said and shared, Ortiz was arraigned on March 2nd and she pleaded not guilty. Yep. We'll see you, C-Win. Thanks again. Like I said, I know people are kind of jumping in and they got to go in between time. So appreciate it and catch our replay on any of your favorite podcast platforms. And we the replay streams on Spotify. So with that being shared, Ortiz was arraigned on March 2nd, pleaded not guilty, and she is facing 25 felony counts. Why? For knowingly recording a false instrument in a public office. That's like the charge, right? Is she knowingly recorded a false instrument in a public office? So currently her bail has been set by the court, criminal court, at $700,000. You know, when I thought about this and I read this, I just was mind blown, and I'm still mind blown, which is why I'm concerned how someone continually, not one time, files a mechanics lien against one property, but then does it again, and then again, and then and again. And then I'm like, well, it's not even like you're hiding. You know, she recorded it in her business name or maybe part ownership in this business entity. There's like an LLC business and she's got her name signed onto it. And you kind of go, Do you want to get caught? I mean, are you meaning to get caught? What's happening here? I don't know what the joke is. I don't know what the lesson is here. I don't know what the backstory is with these property owners in particular, but I am really, really curious as to how we got here. Hey, Antonio, thanks for joining us. I'm just like, how is this happening? And that's why I say I think there's going to be legislation that's going to come out of this, is because those owners are likely saying the same thing. How does someone just get to do this? So I see the pros and cons for this, right? The pro is we there's a mechanism available to protect the unpaid contractor, subcontractor, laborer, material supplier. We don't want folks taking advantage of those people because it's their bread and butter. We don't want people to be swindled or not honoring promises, right? It's so funny because as I was in law school and I was studying contract law, I just thought it was really interesting how we engage in contract every single day. We may not write it down, but by verbal agreements and arrangements, we're agreeing to performances and promises, bilateral, unilateral, that whole thing. We're accepting, right? We're on condition of, if you do this, then I will do this. If you do the work, then I will pay you for the work. What happens when someone breaks those promises? Then we have an instrument like the mechanics liens that protects someone in that instance where the owner does not get to benefit from the work or the supplies being delivered. So I see the pro there. The con here is that it just seems too easy to file. Too easy to file. And then now there's legal work involved, right? The good news here in this particular instance is that the DA's office is going to make sure that they will ask the court to order the removal of the mechanics lien because it is creating a cloud. Some of those property owners, I believe 2 or 3 of those owners, actually have their properties or preparing their properties for sale, only to find out that now this lien is creating a block for them to move forward with selling that property. So we're looking at something that could potentially, well, with this case, right, because this could draw out longer than if this were regular, one person filed a mechanics lien. That usually could be about a 90-day to maybe 180-day process to try to resolve that. You say, well, that still is a pain in the butt. Absolutely. It still is a pain, especially if you're pressed for time to try to sell that property, trying to refinance and get a low interest rate. Whatever the situation is, time is what's really impacted here in this situation. And it will cost you, right? This is not something that you just do on your own to resolve. You'll likely need to hire legal counsel, retain an attorney to help you file the proper paperwork to get the mechanics lien removed from your chain of title. Because once it's recorded, it now becomes essentially part of the chain of title. Okay, I like where we went here, and that was short, sweet, some juiciness that's happening here in California for those of you who are out of area to hear this story that has been circulating about this mechanics lien worth about over $98 million. I've never heard of such thing. Neither has the district attorney's office. And so they are going to work expeditiously to try to resolve this. And I will keep my eyes, ears open to see if I'm right, that there's going to be legislation born out of this to try to mitigate this from happening so easily to another homeowner, thereby causing them to be a victim of somebody's falsehood, right? Or false actions. Okay. If you've got a specific question, feel free to call, text me 323-488-3265. You've got my email here, lisa@lasuperagent.com, the one and only, lisa@lasuperagent.com. And you can check our website where there's merch, there's books, there's workshops, all kinds of stuff. If you are looking to invest, purchase, wanting a consult, wanting a creative consult, training, coaching, all that fun stuff, everything's on the lasuperagent.com website. You can learn more about what I've got going and what I'm cooking. And guess what? I'll see you next week on another information-packed episode right here, same time, same place, your favorite podcast, Ready, Set, Real Estate. Take care, bye, guys. Have a very productive week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Set, Real Estate podcast with Lisa Gillett, the LA Super Agent. Please like, subscribe, and share LA Super Agent